Thank you for joining us today for this video where we are going to talk about an item of significant interest that will be going before the Board of Supervisors on September 17th. I am Dominica, Marketing Specialist, and I'm here with Milan, the Deputy Director of Planning at our home-based permit Sonoma. So can you tell us a little bit about what to expect with this item and what it is?
Sure. So what we're talking about is what we call the Z removal. In our county, we have large swaths of agricultural area that are underneath a Z district. It's just a way of designating areas that certain regulations apply to. The whole point of the Z district is to say that you can't come in and apply to build an accessory dwelling unit or a granny unit on your property. And we did this in agricultural areas to try to preserve agricultural activity and also to focus city center growth. What we provided was an option for people that wanted to come in one-off basis and apply to have that Z restriction removed so they could build a unit. And we learned that there are a variety of good reasons why accessory dwelling units should be built in what we now have within the Z district. And so the other factor in this is that accessory dwelling units are units that we consider affordable housing, and they contribute to addressing the housing crisis that we have. And so with those two things in mind, the board adopted a housing element that gave us direction to take a look at the Z district and all of the parcels that are affected, it's several thousand, and say, where might it make sense for us to remove that restriction and at least allow people to apply to have a granny unit. And so we've done that. We set up several criteria, and it's the things you might typically expect. You know, is this site capable of having an extra unit? Does it have the septic? Is it the right fit? And if a parcel met all of the criteria, then we put it into a bucket of saying, this may be a good area where we shouldn't necessarily have this restriction. People can come in and apply. And so the item is really going over what those criteria are and how many parcels are affected. There's a little under 2,000 parcels that might make sense to have this extra layer of restriction removed. And that's what we're bringing to the board for them to consider and see if it makes sense.
So I know that the general plan is a big element in this whole process, and it gives us a lot of information about what to do with zoning. So can you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely. So the general plan is our overarching blueprint for the county. It's how we will develop over the next 10, 20, 30 years. It sets out broad goals and principles. It gives us that direction, and everything must be aligned with the general plan. The zoning is really the tool, the specific detailed regulations that then implement the general plan. So in this case, the general plan has these policies about agricultural preservation. It has these other policies about promoting affordable housing and finding right and appropriate solutions for housing. And then the zoning ordinance is also implementing, for instance, where the Z district is applied and what considerations go into approving an accessory dwelling unit. So this item is really going to be involved in affecting both of those documents and making sure that we come to a policy that makes sense and does both the ag preservation goals and also gives us new opportunities for affordable housing where it makes sense.
So how can the public get involved in this process?
There are a number of ways. So this item has been in development for a while. We have a project website on it, and anyone can visit through Permit Sonoma's website and learn a little bit more, get all the background information, learn about the past hearings. We also have a handy 2-pager FAQ, frequently asked questions sheet. You can learn just the basics. And then we're going to the board, and that's a public hearing. So anyone can submit comments ahead of that hearing and then attend the hearing and have 3 minutes to speak on the item and help the Board of Supervisors evaluate the proposal.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us for this video. You can learn more about this issue, future issues, at our Facebook page, on Twitter, or on our website at www.permitsonoma.org.